Well, loads of people here we know, a few that we don't. Thanks for coming. And this is a kind of, we haven't rehearsed any of this, but we've done it a few times before, this particular one, so it should be alright. Yeah?
Be what it is, who cares? It's just fun. Fighting in the streets with our children and our
Thank you so much for doing that, gents. That was amazing. We're now going to take some questions from the floor. Actually, although I'd like to start with a question, each for you, of my own. Roger, you've described this tour coming up as, I quote, the beginning of the long goodbye, which is an interesting choice of words. What do you mean by that?
Well, it just has to be really. Well, we can't go on touring forever, but we don't know how long we will go on touring, and it's going to be open-ended kind of thing. But it will have a finality to it. We'll stop touring, I'm sure, before we stop playing as a band. But it's just like Eric Clapton just said. It's a grind of the road. It's incredibly tough on the body at this age. The singing is free. You pay us for the bloody travelling.
The prostitutes, the heroin, the cocaine.
Yeah. Can't do any of it anymore.
Well put.
Question for you, Pete. Talking about the tour as well, you've described
I just answered it. Sorry, go on then, Mark.
Question, you've described it as this tour being a tour of hits, picks, mixes and misses. What can we expect then?
Well, what actually happened was that was in response to the idea that we would go out and we would do a show, and a lot of our hard-nosed fans, hardline fans, long-term fans are always trying to get us, sending emails or going to the website to try to get us to play songs which are kind of in the back catalogue, you know, things that they would love to hear us play. So it's just the slim possibility that we might be able to have a few of those in the mix. So, and those would be the misses, really. We could play Dogs Part 2, Dogs Part 1. We could play Now I'm a Farmer, that was a good one. Which was about growing pop back, you know, in the Small Faces days. But yeah, so it was just really about that, about trying. In 1989, we did a 25th anniversary, which was a coming together for us after a long break. You know, we split up in 82, or I left in 82, and then we got together in 89 for that. And we did a 3-hour to 3.5-hour show then, and we rehearsed, I think, something like 100 songs, and a lot of which were unknown. We're not going to quite go to that extent this time, but we're hoping that there will be a few nice surprises for people that have seen us many times over the years. That's really what it's about.
So let's take some questions from the audience. There's a gentleman with a microphone. There he is. So if you put your hand up, the microphone will come to you. Say your name, where you're from, what you do.
Hi, Roger Pete. I'm Mark Taylor, record collector.
Hello.
And I'd just like to say it's fantastic watching you two just play acoustics. Absolutely fantastic. And will you incorporate that in a live set? You do like a couple of acoustic numbers?
You know, Roger would probably love it, and I know I would enjoy it, but one of the problems is the dynamic change that you have on a stage, you know, when you're, you know, on the last tour, we did TM Theatre, which is a very quiet and intimate acoustic, almost like a show tune acoustic number at the end of our set. We had to really ask the audience to be quiet. We had to let our ears settle after the tumult of the gig itself, so that it's just the audio sonic dynamic that's difficult. But you know, I occasionally used to play I'm One or Drowned as an acoustic song in the middle of Quadrophenia, and it worked okay. But it's tricky. But
I think you find it hard to get good guitar sound.
That's right.
Pete doesn't like the sound of an acoustic guitar, electric, if you know what I mean. And he's right, but when we had time in between songs, like when we did TM Theatre at the end of a show, where we'd had, you know, people trying to kind of shouting for more and things for 5 minutes, and the ears settled down and you could hear, and Pete managed to get a great acoustic sound.
It's also fingerstyle. It's also fingerstyle. I don't know if this is still on. It's interesting if you do what I just did, that thing about that's that, but if I play fingerstyle it will sound lovely. So if the song is fingerstyle, which TM Theatre is, it has...
We could choose some Johnny Cash song.
A better song. God forbid!
Back to the start.
Next question, sir, over there with the mic.
Thank you. Adam Sherwin from The Independent. David Cameron tonight is throwing a cool Britannia party in Downing Street for the best of Britain's creative industry, as he says. I presume you're invited, but I was wondering if you think the real cool Britannia period was 50 years ago, at that time from 1964-5, when British rock music was pioneering, and the bands came out and are still here today and ruled the world?
No comment.
Well, the last political thing I was invited to was by the Labour Party, Days of New Labour, and my advice to them was, don't let fucking Damon Albarn and Noel Gallagher come and talk to you, because as soon as things go a little bit difficult for them, as soon as they get their tax bill, they'll drop you like a stone, which is exactly what happened. And I, of course, now, what do I vote? I better keep it to myself, really.
Next question from the floor.